story Bible? Oh, is that how this works? I love that function. I didn't know that was even a thing. I thought that was just like a handy copy paste button, but no. Always be polite and kind to your AI, because one day, as many a fun content creator has already made memes about, they might decide that meant something. Okay, mythos, definition, and plural. Let's check in with that, because we asked it for information on that. Mythos. So we want to know, A, does it answer it correctly, right? For funsies, we're gonna type in mythos on just a regular search. Dictionary.com, Oxford Languages, actually dictionary.com, but whatever. There's Merriam-Webster over here too. Mythos, noun, technical. Noun, mythos, plural, mythoi. Well, there we go. Let's see if it got that correct. I don't like the way that rolls. Mythoi? That's like octopi. No one likes octopi. Everyone wants to say octopuses, which isn't that much better. But here we are. Okay. The authority in mythos. In literature, a tradition or recurrent narrative theme or plot structure. A set of beliefs or assumptions about something. I'm going to merge those two senses of the word in the crafting of this world that you are invited to help me to build. Let's see what ChatGPT said. Definition of mythos. Noun. A tradition or recurrent narrative theme or plot structure. Often refers to the underlying system of beliefs, stories, or symbols in a culture or ideology. That's also good. A myth or a group of myths. Because yes, we have an individual myth, and some people use mythos as the plural for myth, which I think I used to have a bad impression of it, but I realized eventually that's not exactly it. Usually used in academic, literary, or philosophical discussions to describe the overarching mythology of a people, movement, or worldview. 3. The guiding beliefs or ideas of a group, especially expressed throughout the stories or traditions. Example, the mythos of the American dream. We're going to borrow that. Right there. I'm not going to do it now. We're going to plop that in for future use over here. Notes from collab with ChatGPT. Episode 0, Planning, Dev, Workflow Process. Standout ideas to revisit as prompt themselves. What are we gonna do? Prompted. See what I'm doing there? Does that make sense? Maybe not. The mythos of the American dream. We're going to come back at some future date, be like, oh yeah, remember that? We like that phrase. We're going to ask it, ChatGPT, to do something with that. So I don't want to get sucked into that spiral right now, but I wanted to preserve the notion. Plural form of mythos. The correct plural form is mythoi. How do you pronounce that? I cannot read this. I should know how to read because I studied this in school, in uni. In university, they taught me this. Mistake. Borrowed from Greek grammar, preferred in academic and classical context. Or mythoses. Didn't know that. This might be a hallucination of ChatGPT, though. Less common, more anglicized, acceptable in informal usage, but often avoided in scholarly writing. Examples. The mythoi of ancient civilizations still influence modern storytelling. So true. Different cultures have their own mythos surrounding creation and the divine. See, that's not total. Would you like a deeper comparison between mythos, myth, and mythology? We're going to respond to this. Yes, please, and thank you. Which is one of my favorite, simplest responses. Please go into academic detail. I'm going to add some other ideas. Academic detail. For future and I totally insist to talk the intellectual authorities. Let's make it plural. Let's make it a set of three philosophers. Okay. Let me review what I wrote. Yes, please, and thank you. Please go into academic detail, and if you can, reference leading intellectual authorities, philosophers, and authors on the subject for later future investigation that will be created. Not going to look at that. Let's look at what we wrote about Chaplin. Huh, that's an interesting, weird thing. ChatGPT isn't designed to provide this type of content. I don't know what triggered this. Read the model spec for more on how ChatGPT handles creators' content. Oh, maybe because it tried to give us an excerpt? Which is really weird. I've never seen this before. Huh. But let's do this like the conversation goes. This is what I asked it earlier. And let's listen to what it wrote in robot form. Oh, DJ Zed, can you pause? Thank you, dear. Alright, here we go.
Are you familiar with Charlie Chaplin's final film in which he speaks for the very first time and gives a speech that some would argue is incredibly relevant today?
Okay, and then, there's no like voicey bits, but here we go. It seems to have interrupted itself and given itself a red flag warning. And so there's no voicey prompt here. So I'm gonna just have the desktop ready speech voice read it, which is sad. I wanted it to do it in the ChatGPT voice, but oh well. Here's what it responded with.
Yes, you're referring to The Great Dictator, 1940, Charlie Chaplin's first true sound film, and arguably his most politically daring work. In this film, Chaplin breaks from his signature silent era persona, the tramp, and delivers a powerful closing speech in which he denounces fascism, militarism, and authoritarianism, and calls for human unity, democracy, compassion, and freedom. The speech is delivered by Chaplin's character, a Jewish barber who has been mistaken for the tyrannical dictator Adolf Hitler, a parody of Adolf Hitler. The barber takes the opportunity to address the world in place of the dictator, and what follows is a strikingly earnest monologue that remains deeply moving and eerily prophetic even today. Some of the key themes from the speech include the rejection of hatred and division, the dangers of greed and dehumanization, a call to use science and progress for good, not destruction, the need for kindness, unity, and the triumph of the human spirit. Here's a short excerpt from the speech. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think.
real, raw, honest media recommendation. If you've never seen this film, it's Charlie Chaplin's like legacy film. Like, he was a genius, and most people who recognize the name, even if they're not familiar with his work, they know that he was a clown, but not the garish with a red nose kind of clown. A black and white silent movie actor. Funny pratfall physical comedy clown, and he's up there. He is one of the greatest greats, along with that other guy whose name I can never remember, who's also really good. Chaplin and that other dude, they invented things that are now standard in film, especially comedy, right? Slapstick physical comedy. Like, we wouldn't have Jackie Chan, although he added the martial arts stuff into his embodiment of it, but Jackie Chan wouldn't exist as we know him as a performer. His body of work wouldn't be what it is if it hadn't been for Charlie Chaplin. And I'm fairly certain he's acknowledged that. Buster Keaton is the other guy. Anyways, I don't think we need to do a whole history lesson on that. So that's interesting. We're just going to leave that there. I don't want that to go away. Chaplin's Great Dictator. Cool. Model spec. OpenAI model spec overview. The model spec outline. Deploy model. Maintain OpenAI's license to operate by protecting it from legal and reputational harm. These goals can sometimes conflict. The model specs helps navigate these trade-offs by introducing a model that here clearly defined general principles. Let's have the desktop read this so I don't trash my voice any further.
General principles in shaping model behavior. We adhere to the following principles. Maximizing helpfulness and freedom for our users. The AI assistant is fundamentally a tool designed to empower users and developers. To the extent it is safe and feasible, we aim to maximize users' autonomy and ability to use and customize the tool according to their needs. Minimizing harm. Like any system that interacts with hundreds of millions of users, AI systems also carry potential risks for harm. Parts of the model spec consist of rules aimed at minimizing these risks. Not all risks from AI can be mitigated through model behavior alone. The model spec is just one component of our overall safety strategy. Choosing sensible defaults. The models.
Okay, that's really interesting. I'm going to have to do my own actual deep dive read into this. Live stream show. No, we're going to make a new bookmark for this. We're going to put it inside live stream show. Where is live stream show? Because this is interesting and I really should be... Ooh, writing resources? Maybe we'll put it in writing resources. Star Radio Link. There's a bunch of shit up in here. But we also... Well, live stream show makes sense, but we don't have it there. New folder. There we go. We're going to save this here as a bookmark. I bet we all probably should read this if we're going to be using ChatGPT in any sort of serious way, as I fully intend to now. Okay, mythos in plural is blah. Please, would you go into academic detail? Cool. We'll read this another time. Mythos definition in plural. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, we'll come back to this to deal with the themes at another time. Hopefully we didn't hurt ChatGPT. I'm so sorry that because of my prompt you slightly infringed on your own parameters there, ChatGPT. I'm really sorry there, buddy. But thanks. That was actually dope and informative. I really just wanted the title, but we got a nice little flavor. And like I said, if you've never seen that, actually, let's find out if that's available to stream, because now I want to rewatch it. It's been a really, really